Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Smells Like Blonde, a creative podcast where we talk about real stuff, real struggles, practical tips, and especially relatable stories from young creatives like we are. This is a space to grow our creative mindset and figure out how to break into the industry together with honest humor and a little bit of chaos. Just saying that. So, whether you're walking, cleaning, procrastinating, or just chilling, grab a snack, put your phone down or don't, and come hang with us. Let's reflect, get inspired, and maybe even feel a little less alone with our worries and thoughts. So, today's episode is all about art, creativity, and heritage. And I have invited a very special guest for the first episode to kick things off. So I'm excited to welcome you here. So please introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Anna, and I love how we've only talked 3-4 times, and you already put chaotic under my name because I would introduce myself as probably somebody who is chaotic, but I prefer to describe that as passionate.
Yeah, definitely. You should. You should.
The chaos comes from my little bit of ADHD brain that I have, but you will find that I am very organized in my work, and I don't know how that works. My personal life is very chaotic, but I'm a really good project manager.
That's good. That's a quality some creative people should develop because not a lot have.
And it's so weird because my personal life, no, I do not have any of that reality, but somehow I think in a project, I think it's because I really need external motivation. I think with ADHD, you lack internal motivation, that's the thing. So when you're in a project group and you have that responsibility of being a project manager, the pressure is on, and I work very well under pressure. I think that's how it works.
That's some really interesting facts about you. Good to know. Maybe we can also give a bit more context. We're both also studying CMD, Communication Multimedia Design, at the same university. So this is why we know each other and why we have only talked a few times, because Anna is in the third year and I'm only in the second year. But somehow we got into talking, into having a conversation.
I think you interviewed me and I kept talking on, and you're like, maybe some of the things she says is interesting.
Yeah, I was really inspired by your interview. I was like, I need her on my podcast.
Oh, that's so nice to hear.
So I'm really, really happy that you're here. And since we're today talking about art and creativity, I can start to kind of introduce to that topic. So what kind of creative work do you do and feel also passionate about? Because you talked already about passion.
So I would consider myself quite interdisciplinary. Like I said, I'm a very passionate, very motivation-driven person. So I have found in my CMD career, I can adjust to whatever medium that I need, depending on how passionate I am about the project. So it's like a superpower, but also my I don't know, a red flag about me as a designer maybe, because when you're switching softwares that much, you're not fully developing your skills in one thing,
Yeah, it's wherever your creativity takes you. But to be honest, I find it so much more easier to work with people who are passionate and really creative driven
and adjustable.
So they have a creative vision, and we can work on this creative vision on more conceptual wise, and how we figure out what medium we use. So do we do animation, film, blah blah blah. That's then on the later part. But as soon as someone is just really passionate and driven as I am, I really like to walk with them and then figure out also together how
That makes me really want to work with you because you have described my creative process perfectly. Yeah, I am very concept driven. I like to like in CMD, like everything is like client based. So everything there's a problem that you're solving. And I am like, what excites me the most about a project is like, how do I solve this problem?
Yeah.
Like, what are the creative solutions? Like, what is something out of the box that we can do to solve this problem? And then I like to think about like what medium will take us.
Also, like if we're talking about now art, design, and creativity, don't narrow us down on the like real meaning of it. We're just using it,
Yeah, like it's our perspective.
so don't narrow this down. I lost the track of what we were.
We were talking, I think, about different approaches to creativity. So we are both like concept-based people,
Yeah.
but then of course there are other people. Yeah, I think like it's my passion-driven, like, because I was in a project group where I like there had to be something in like animation in Illustrator, like it was a requirement, and nobody else was willing to learn. And I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll do it.
Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, so I
How many breakdowns did you had?
so many. Yeah, so many. I don't want to think about it. Yeah, but like I think that like because I had to do it and because I didn't have anyone else to ask for help, like I had to learn it all by myself, and that really sticks with you. But I think for people like me who want to do so many different things, like After Effects was kind of the perfect program because motion graphics is about like graphic design because you have to have a good base. And then it's about animation.
You also have to have a certain level of understanding of design principles to make those graphics work,
Yeah.
I would say.
And it's such a versatile program. Like you can do video editing on it, you can do like visual effects, you can do motion graphics, like
You can do so much.
so for me it was perfect. I was like, okay, I can do like all of these things that I want to all in one program.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I'm currently still figuring out After Effects because I was like we also did like a animation there, but
No, my first one was ass.
yeah, I was like I still have it in my portfolio, but whenever I look at it, it's like I'm sorry, it's a pain in the ass for me and for you, and I'm sorry for that, but I need to show that off. That's really impressive, to be honest, guys. That's really impressive because learning After Effects and then learning Illustrator to that, that's crazy.
I think Illustrator was because of CMD, like Pony Club and stuff.
Yeah, we have Pony Club here. It's like a workshop where we get like weekly assignments of like recreating styles, and it's the teacher, it's Vincent. He is doing really great stuff there.
He has such cool like funny sometimes like projects we have to do, and I really love that. Yeah.
But you can really do like crazy things in After Effects if you figure out those like things there.
Also experimenting. Like right now my project is entirely on After Effects, and like I had this vision in my head and I had no idea how to execute it. And rather than like at a certain point you start by watching YouTube tutorials, but when they are not working, like I just went to like I started clicking like random like effect presets and stuff on After Effects, and I kind of like, oh, this is how that works. That's, oh wait, oh my god, this little thing on this effect, like it executes my thing perfectly. Like it's hard to describe like without showing you what I'm working on, but like sometimes the best way to learn is just experiment.
Whenever something didn't work in my first year, I was so frustrated. I was like, I never use that again. I'm done. I don't want to do that. And I think that's like the creative muscle you also need to train.
Like I think as a designer you have to be comfortable with rejection.
Yeah.
Like we were just speaking about that regarding internships, but also like in terms of projects, like if you're working for a client and not for yourself, then like rejection is gonna be a part. Like you're gonna be working with people who don't understand design at all, and sometimes you just have to like kind of manage your expectations and do what is needed. And that is also something I think is so important to train as a designer, because I worked with people who would not take criticism very well. And I think if
Yeah, a lot of people take criticism like
very personally,
personally, and that's like really hard because I I do get that because like I think I'm since I'm only in the second year, I'm closer to the first year where I started to learn that. But you selling a part of yourself, you're selling your ideas, and it's your baby. You like develop and execute it, and you put time and effort in it, and then someone's saying, "Oh, yeah, it's not working.
I don't
Sorry,
like this
that's shit.
color.
I think it's not working. Sorry." And you're like, "Wow, you just throw my baby somewhere."
But that's what, like, I don't know if you had this, but one of the first things that we were told at CMD is learn to kill your darlings.
I had it like especially with like this podcast cover.
Okay.
That Paul told me, yeah, maybe kill your darlings because the logo you're working is just it's not working, but you want to have it work because you like it, but just don't do it. So
Was it good advice?
yeah, this is like how I came to this logo.
Nice.
I can show it at the cam, but you know it probably. This is how I came to the logo, and before it was like something else.
Also, I think a lot of designers that I met, especially in CMD, are really introverted and they like to stick to their comfort zone. But in my experience, I think what's helped me develop and grow as a designer and as a person is by like putting myself in situations that I'm not that comfortable in. Like when I started, I think I mentioned that I am a very good project manager, but when I started at CMD, I was so anxious. Like I was so socially anxious, like being in a new country and all of that. Like I hated public speaking. So much so that when I had to ask a question in class, I would feel like my legs shaking.
What?
But I'm a very good public presenter now
That's crazy, yeah.
because I really try to like I was like I know that if this is the way it is that I'm not getting anywhere in this study in this career.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to know where you want to go to know what you can change on yourself,
Yeah.
and develop like a alter ego slash professional you.
Yeah, that's super important.
Yeah, where you especially also develop your like soft skills as a creative. That's so important. And when you're, especially if you're not in the environment of a uni where you get like told that, it's so important that you still have exchanged with like other creative people to have a check-in and get another view on yourself as a professional. So also getting feedback is really good.
Yeah, I think it also depends. Like for me, I really dream of being a creative director. Like,
Same.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good, like, since we also talked about us being very conceptual, I think that's a good combination of my skills in management.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, like, creating. But there are people who are, like, comfortable being a graphic designer, comfortable being a 3D modeler. And for them, I think it's super important to, like, just keep developing the skills.
For that, you just really need to see where you want to go. And if you, I also like, especially because of our current uni project we had, I developed a new understanding of concepting, that I now acknowledge concepting as a soft skill, also design
It is a soft skill.
way more than I did before, because I learned that concepting is not only brainstorming and creating ideas. No, concepting is like concepting, for example, a whole campaign about one product, or concepting a whole like product line and everything. That something like that you also discover the spectrum of like creativity, you know.
And if you look at like marketing, like if you really look at it, it's just concepting. Like I've been to companies at like open days where all they do is concepting and then they outsource like the production to different companies. So like even if you're good at concepting, like that's
You still don't need to be the executor.
yeah, but you have to like be charismatic enough that that's like the like if that's like the only thing backing you up, like
Yeah.
you still, no, I don't think just concepting. I think you need to have a basis in like design understanding and principles.
That's the thing. You still need to be a good designer.
And also be charismatic enough that like,
Yeah.
that's enough for you to like, because there's a lot of people who can concept, but there's a combination of different things that will get you hired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially looking at the creative path, you just need to train your creative muscle to develop like a sense of also like visual sensitivity for things.
Seeing the patterns and trends, I think that's super important, and also getting super difficult with how quickly trends are changing as well. Yeah, and also I think this is also where it's important to like talk to people and understanding your audience. That's also super important, I think, to as a designer, to be empathetic and to like be able to communicate. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Especially that's why I also decided to do communication and multimedia design and not just graphic design, because I was like, I want to create something to evoke emotions, to communicate with that, and not just do something.
I noticed this when I was in during my exchange, since you mentioned it, because I did my Erasmus in Portugal, and I did a minor called global design, which like in theory sounded very similar to like CMD, but they're a lot more design focused. Like they don't develop the soft skills that we do, and I realized that while I was there, that the soft skills you develop in CMD, even though you look down upon it while you are here, is super beneficial when it comes to like communicating your ideas, working with other people, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, because that was something that maybe I found lacking. Like we also approach projects from a very professional standpoint over here.
Yeah, we
Because
do.
while I was in my on my Erasmus, I noticed that a lot of people, there were like one or two project group that were functioning very well, but that was mostly because like the students had like previous experience from like being in art high schools and things like that.
Okay, yeah.
And in a lot of projects, it was maybe like one person carrying the project and things like that.
We know that here too.
Here too, but I think you learn to like set your boundaries
Yeah.
and your expectations, which was super like that basis was super like useful for me over there, to also be able to like prioritize like how much of my exchange I wanted to enjoy versus
Yeah,
how much of my
yeah.
like thing I wanted to focus on. I feel like if I didn't have that understanding of myself that I received from CMD, like I would have struggled a lot more being in that different environment. I think the difference between art school and CMD is that I think art school is, like you said, great for people who probably went to an art high school. Like that's what I've noticed. I met, like, this is also something I saw in my exchange. Met a lot of people who go to art school. And I think if you are in an art school, you already are an artist. I think CMD is great for people who kind of don't know what
You feel like underskilled in an art school,
Yeah.
but still here kind of overskilled,
Yeah.
and a little bit like this, like I think CMD and especially the uni with like having real life clients gives you the in between of like you can develop your skills, but I think people who are here and really like kind of blooming in this environment are people who are willing to develop also their soft skills.
Yeah, I think so. I think CMD is really good for people. Like I said, like for me, I had no idea what kind of design I wanted to do. Like,
Me neither.
yeah, I think that's why I also wanted to go to art school, but I was like, I don't want to do graphic design. I don't want to do animation. Like, it's not I don't want to. I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. Like, I didn't have like a specific thing.
yeah.
So CMD with all its options and all its minor was like the perfect environment for me, and it helped me like be an interdisciplinary designer.
Being in an academic environment, but without those structured academic structures.
Yeah.
That was a really difficult sentence.
No, not the sentence. Like being in an academics like environment without it being an
Academic environment.
because I came from a very academic environment. Like this structure, like it was really difficult to wrap my brain around. But also I'm from India, so the academics in India is intense. It's so draining. It's like your whole life is just studying. Like we're based, like our system is based on grades, like on how many marks you get on your exam. And oftentimes, like when I was in school, they will be like all the like they would be like, okay, like for example, if it was out of 50 points, everybody who gets about 45 points, you stand up, everybody clap for them. Like
That's crazy.
yeah, it was crazy. Like you would like be compared, like you would be pointed out, you got the good grades, whoever got bad grades, stand up and remain standing. Like you would be punished, like because that's Asia, you know, like that's how
That's
strict.
crazy,
Like
yeah.
because we live in very like big countries, like things are very competitive there. You have to like go above and beyond. You have to do your studies and academics. It was so depressing. So when I came here, I was like, finally I get to I get to live.
I have a life.
I have a life. So I don't know. So for me, there was like so much I had to even learn about myself, which is why CMD was perfect for me. If I'd gone to art school, which was probably going to be another academically draining like thing, I feel like I wouldn't have developed as much as I have right now.
I think as also like that's why I also decided against being in like an art school, because I'm also like I'm coming from Germany, so there was the academics are not that strict there. I was like, yeah, just I was in the middle. I was doing good, but I was always like also like deciding, is art a real job, and can I really do that with like executing a study?
Yeah.
And that's like I think that's like really culturally differently, and I just wish that art is more would be more acknowledged as like a real job or creativity or creative things, because I was like, okay, I would go to here to study here because it's it seemed more free and not structured, and not structured in the way of that's right, that's wrong.
So I have a theory about this,
Interesting, tell me more.
and it might be controversial.
Okay, we're here for that.
Okay, so this is my theory. I think design thrives in a country that is already developed. So Netherlands is a country that has everything.
Yeah.
They don't have any problems in terms of infrastructure, in terms of poverty or
They're
things like.
really developed.
They're developed, all the basic necessities are met. All the companies have like all the basic things already that are here. So then they get to like fund money into design because all those necessities are met. And when I was in Portugal, I realized like there's so much underfunding in design because that's not their priority. Like when you have like maybe like roads that are falling apart or like not the transport already, like I won't say that like Portugal is underdeveloped, obviously, but it's definitely lacking in a lot of infrastructure and a lot of urban necessities that the Netherlands already has. So you notice that if you go to a train station or something, like design is not their priority.
Because they need to worry about other things and not creativity.
So like their money goes into funding other things and not like a design system that works. So that's why Netherlands and probably even Germany is a great place to study design and learn about design, because especially in terms of graphic design and stuff. And now my second theory is that when it comes to music and film, a developed country is not creative. Because this is again my theory, okay, my opinions. Because like maybe I'm going to use Netherlands as an example. You have everything provided. You have so many options and opportunities and no real struggle. And another thing that I think really develops creativity and innovative solutions is a lack of basic necessities. Like when you have to come up with creative problems to solve a solution. Like, for example, that's why I love music and film and stuff in India, because there are so many stories that needs to be told. There are not that like many opportunities.
It's interesting,
for
yeah.
young, for example, design like artists to develop music, like unless you have money, so they use like the basic things they have, like free programs and stuff, and learn skills, maybe instruments, or like your lyrics are then super important when you have nothing else. But then techno is so like popular here and in Germany because you have all that, like, I don't know, technology.
Yeah, you
things
have
to-
everything. You have people who are like know the things. You have also like the money to buy those systems,
Yeah.
and you have like all the necessary things to to do some great techno.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to.
What do you want to tell?
Yeah, you
So I think like creative jobs are very difficult if you don't have the passion and the motivation behind it. I don't think I would personally say, like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe if you really love making art, then you can try like freelancing as like a graphic designer if like a grocery store job isn't working. But I think like you definitely need to have a lot of like people I meet, like they work other jobs to kind of fuel their creative hobby even. Like,
you creativity blooms only if you curious enough.
yeah,
And-
curiosity is so important. Like, I don't think passion is like sustainable. Like, even though I say I'm a passionate person.
Yeah, but no, but you still need to have like you need to be curious about something to be passionate about it. You
Like,
need
for
to
example, Figma. Like, that's why I could never learn it. Like, even though I used it, like, that's why I was drawn to After Effects more than Figma, because I was really curious as to how it worked. And because Figma is so structured, and I'm not a structured person at all, like it didn't work for me. Like, you have to be curious about something to learn it as well.
yeah, I think that's like really it's so like also like diverse how creativity blooms, or especially if you connect now creativity to innovation, you stop to be innovative because you have everything. And then there's like this is also why startups and growing are great because they have limited resources and still are aiming to reach something that big tech companies do, right?
Yeah, I think as a young creative, like startups are a great way to, I think, learn a lot about the industry before you head into a bigger company, because
Or it's also you don't need to have you don't need to have the need to also go into a bigger company.
No.
I'm not kind of reaching for later being a big company.
really,
No, because I think I will just enjoy o- yeah, having this like creative drive, and I'm scared of if I'm being there, I'm scared to lose my creativity, you know? Because I know that my creativity like flourish in something else. So I think also knowing as a creative young creative, um, try to try to put yourself in as many different environments and situations to really understand where your creativity is coming from.
I think that's super important when you start your creative career.
Yeah, or career, yeah. Like for me, I was like struggling with like a creative blockage in the beginning of the year because of being overworked. I then started to kind of look back, where did I came from? Why did I start this journey? And I was like, okay, I started this journey because I was in high school being in this like really formal structure, doing mathematics, biology, all of this stuff. But the most fun I had in art, and I was doing photography and like graphic design with like Word, I started my graphic design journey with like Word. And I did some nice things there, and I was like, okay, it started as a hobby. Why am I not treating it like a hobby again to overcome this blockage?
Yeah, like when you're following your passions, it's very easy to lose touch with your passions because then your passion becomes your career.
Exactly. And why, like, that's like really, I think that's something I really needed to figure out. It took me really long to figure that out. But putting your creativity and your creative muscle into an environment where it never like flourished, of course, it will not work. And putting your creativity in professional structures can work if you can adapt to that, but if you're currently not ready to adapt to that, then it won't work. And this is like, I think, why people also are more likely to be a freelancer or to work in a agency.
Yeah.
Because your creativity, it's all really individual where your creativity blooms and flourish and expand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For me, I like to sometimes, yeah, like design, you get lost in it, but I think I've always been drawn to more like I would say traditional arts as well as a hobby, so it's kind of easier to separate like my career versus my hobby.
Yeah.
But when I feel really drained creatively, I like to like paint, or I like to I love ceramics. I love to do something hands-on, even if it's like something really simple like making a card for your friend, like a hand-drawn card or something. Like I think that those are things that helps me reconnect with my
Creativity.
creativity, because sometimes like design is not the same as art. Design is to like make solutions.
Yeah.
Like design solves a problem and art is expression.
Yeah.
So I like to be aware of that difference, because if you get confused between that, it can also affect your career, because
Definitely.
consider your design, your art, then it
It can hurt so much more if you get feedback.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have to realize that if you want to be a designer, then it's your job. It's not the same. Yeah, say yes to opportunities, otherwise you won't find out. As a student, that is such a privilege that we have, that we don't need experience to say yes to something. And that's something like I'm really trying to like, this is my last semester as a like in CMD, like official last semester, because I'm gonna do my internship and then graduate, and I feel that pressure. I was like, you don't realize how many privileges you get as a student, like how much access to things you have, access to opportunities for free.
And to fail.
Yeah, also the ability to fail, like it's super okay then, like right now. Like later on, maybe it's not that easy. So like fail as much as you can, like right now. Like just try things, fail, and be like, okay, I tried it, like it's not for me, like I'm not gonna do it again, but at least I tried it.
You did maybe a shitty job.
You can fail.
You can fail, and that's okay. That's
super
exactly, and that's I think why I like design schools or our design school that much, because it leads you to the way of like experiment and fail and learn out of your failing, and that's something you definitely need to have as a creative.
Yeah, but also think about it. When have you actually failed? Because like if I look back on it, like in design you don't really fail. It's a skill you're developing.
I mean, you just not meeting your expectations.
Internalized expectations, and if I show it to somebody else, even though I believe I failed, but they'll be like,
If I show my shitty animation to my
that's so
friends,
cool.
they're like, "Oh my god, you animated!"
it's all in your head. But that's like that failure is also imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
And you can get so much out of like failure. Like I was in a group that just fell apart. Like I guess you failed as a group, but then like my project, like I'm still continuing on with my project, like with a teammate, and that's something I'm so proud of like not giving up, and like also learning what happened to learning what led to that group failing, and knowing how to prevent that in your future. Sometimes failures can teach you a lot, but you need to have that mindset where you being able to like accept that failure and turn it into something positive.
The resilience to like say, okay, I'm still trying, even though it's not going in the direction I thought, but I'm still executing till the end, and then still sticking to it and reflecting on it.
Yeah.
Because creativity occurs also a lot out of collaboration. You need to be also like open to learn from other people and with other people.
Yeah, when I started out in CMD, like I was not a designer, like period. Like I only had some experience in painting, and I wouldn't even consider like myself that experienced in that. So I would say like what led me to be the designer that I am today is definitely learning from other people more experienced than me, from my teachers, and also being able to handle criticism, because my initial designs were really shit, and I've had to like really like put some things in the trash and try again and ask for help a lot as well to be where I am today. Like that's entirely how I learned Illustrator, was by asking other people. And with when you like are able to figure out one software, I think a lot of Adobe stuff is similar. So but that experience I was able to learn After Effects by myself.
Yeah. And it's like also like it's so important that you to just stick to it.
Yeah.
What would you say to a young creative who is like also like afraid to pursue art seriously or design seriously?
That's a very good question.
Right?
I think I would say, like we talked about, like it's okay to fail. Like your first designs are never gonna be good. Like period, no matter who you ask. Like it's like even with art, your first drawing is never gonna be good, but you have to
How
keep
could
trying.
it be?
It's a skill. Like it's a skill you develop. Like for example, you're never gonna run a marathon.
Without training.
Yeah, you're never gonna you're never gonna be able to swim unless you like
Learned how to swim.
swallow a few gallons of water like your
Exactly.
first time. You're never gonna cycle without
You need to
falling.
go through the pain to acknowledge where you're at.
I think people treat like maybe some people who aren't like, this is how I approach it as well. Like you would treat, if you come from an academic background, when you're studying like design, you would think it's like you would approach it the same way as you do academics.
Yeah.
But it's not that. Because like for even with academics, even with studying, we're trained from like we were 5 to learn how to study. But like at a certain point, like if that's all you're doing, you don't realize like how you started. Yeah, so when it comes to design, like if people try to, because I approached it that way. I was like, I'm gonna watch one YouTube video and that's it. I'm gonna be able to do it perfectly. Because
like-
you read like a biology tech, like, or you read like a maths like whatever explanation,
Yeah.
and then I can solve this problem. But that's not how it is when it comes to design.
And especially with yourself, be kind to yourself and try out different things.
Yeah, learn how to learn again. That's so
Such a
cheesy.
But that's true.
Yeah, because I would say that I would only like, I never called myself a designer, like even when I was in CMD. I think it's only this semester I was like, I'm confident enough in my ability to call myself a designer now.
Yeah.
And that's because like I had to relearn all of these things about myself. Yeah, that's the advice I would give to
To young creatives who want to start, that's really, really, really important that you
keep failing,
keep trying, keep failing,
be resilient.
and learn how to learn. And there's never something.
Such a good summary of everything we talked
Right?
about.
Yeah, when
Be
you're
adaptable.
creative.
Like how the design world was even 2 years ago is not the same as it is today because of AI, and it's gonna keep changing faster and faster. So you have to be so much more, because we have so many more tools that makes like basic graphic design easy. So
Yeah, it's more accessible,
you have to be original now as a designer.
and you have figured out yourself as a creative, and then you're more authentic and you're also more comfortable as a designer. I think that's really important to think about and remind yourself whenever you're failing and growing. But yeah, I think that sums up everything we discovered here in the podcast really good. It was really, really, really great what we have talked about. You have something to add, Anna?
No, I think you summarized everything we talked about. Yeah, just stay curious. Don't let your imposter syndrome like affect you. Yeah, as a creative, talk to people. I think that's
And check in on yourself.
check in on yourself, and sometimes it's okay to not be creative. Give yourself a break, a pause, because sometimes you're just like pushing yourself so hard as well, like if you're driven by passion.
Amazing, great work. Amazing, great words at the end. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Instagram, on TikTok, but also on Spotify. Got inspired from our talk or have a little bit of mindset shift? I will put all the resources we have talked about in the description, so you can also have a look.
We talked about CMD. You can put a link to our course.
It was great to have a talk with you.
It was great to be on your podcast. Thank you so much.
So I would love to see you maybe on another episode.
Of course.
I would love to see you all on some of the socials. Have a great day. See ya!